It's a perfect evening here in Oslo, perfect for football, and England's record in this beautiful city is perfect also. 3 times we have been here and 3 times we have won, and it will be a bad time for that to change now. The Polish referee getting the teams together as the band, who've given a marvellous display in the last hour, go marching away. 6-0 England won here in 1937, 4-1 in 1949, and 6-1 in 1966 when Jimmy Greaves scored 4 times. This is the Norwegian side, who in fact, it's their strongest side they've ever been able to put into the field. They have 6 professionals in the side who play abroad. Tommy Lund here is not one of them though, and all 6 for the first time are back in this country to face England, and their captain Kevin Keegan. Indeed, the Norwegian captain there, Halvard Thoresen, who missed the game in Wembley and is, without question, Norway's outstanding player. Well, England looked as though they've won something straight away tonight. They decided that they would kick towards the goal on our right, Kevin Keegan having won the toss. Enormous pressure on them. A win here and it would be a giant step for England towards the finals in Spain. Norway, as I say, field their strongest side for the first time. They're 6 professionals who all play in Germany and 1 in Greece. Holland and Belgium are all back. Einar Aas, the number 4 of Nottingham Forest, of course, well known now. Thoresen, the number 8, their best known player. Paul Jakobsen, the number 10, as fast as they come, and has just turned a big bid down from the German side, Nuremberg. 3 changes in the England side that won in Hungary in June. Dave Watson, Trevor Brooking, Steve Coppell are out. Rosal Osman comes into the defence, Glenn Hoddle to the midfield, and the man banging form at the moment, of course, Trevor Francis, is into the attack. Such fantastic interest in English football here in Norway, in fact, that I think most of the crowd here in the stadium tonight would know the England names probably better than they know their own. The goalkeeper, the first game he's played for Norway for 6 years, Tor Antonsson, so he might well be under a lot of pressure tonight. And away we go then. Norway in the dark shirts of red, attacking the goal to our left. England, of course, in white. A free kick straight away for the Norwegians. A draw or a defeat for England here would be a calamity, but it wouldn't necessarily mean that they wouldn't qualify for Spain, but they would really have to depend upon a lot of people and a lot of other results. If they win here tonight and then win their 1 remaining game at Wembley against Hungary, that's what we have to remember, then they're in with every chance of qualifying, and Osman just preventing that ball from going for the corner off the head of Mick Mills, and a throw in the first minute on the far side to Norway to be taken by Paul Jakobsen, a former sprinter who is enormously fast. It's said that 2 First Division sides are here from England today watching him. Jakobsen again, who caused England a few problems at Wembley, crossing that one in. Osman nicely away. England need to settle to a good start and to put the Norwegians under a lot of pressure, in the hope that you can quell their confidence and kill them off in the early stages. Certainly the confidence in the camp really couldn't be higher. Still living on that marvellous performance in Budapest in June. It's a free kick for England. Mills taking it towards Keegan, and Hareide, the big number 3, a fair-haired lad who's at Manchester City at the moment, getting in with a header and then getting in with that clearance. Into touch for another England throw. Mills again with it. Francis back for Mills. Ron Greenwood in no way underestimates this Norwegian side. They've lost only 1 of their last 8 games here in this stadium, and that was against the Hungarians right at the death when they were leading for most of the game. And they're a side with a lot of skill to them, but with 1 or 2 amateurs that suggests that maybe their concentration doesn't always last 90 minutes. Roger Albertson getting the ball back for a first touch for Thor Antonsen. 31 years old, 6 caps, the last one in 1975 against Russia. Back there, and Jakobsen on the chase straight away and getting in there before Russell Osman, crossing one across that English penalty area, and Jakobsen showing the threat that his pace can bring straight away. Paul Jakobsen, no score, with a couple of minutes of this game gone. As you've hurried home from work, from the office, I'll give you the score as frequently as you may need it. Phil Thompson playing it wide here for Phil Neal. Brian Robson played for Phil Neal. He's got McDermott outside him. There's the ball for Terry McDermott. And the cross coming in and a missed kick. But Antonsen preventing the corner. Ron Atkinson of Manchester United with me. Ron, an early impression?
Well, the surprising thing is Kevin Keegan's role tonight. I think we all thought that he was going to play deep in midfield, just behind the front two, but he's pushed right up front, and it looks actually as if Trevor Francis may be occupying a slightly deeper position.
Which is one that he doesn't always like. He would prefer to be up front himself, I think, Francis.
That's right, but I would think with the mobility of both Keegan and Francis, they could possibly interchange quite a bit during the evening.
Right, Einar Ors of Nottingham Forest to Hareide. But a foul there by Mariner, giving the Norwegians a free kick. The ball was moving when Ors took it. Thompson getting up well there. Hoddle trying to get men forward and running. Francis amongst them, who'd moved quickly into a forward position there. Ors again in there, being hustled by Keegan. And Keegan in the eventually losing out to the number 7, Giska. But a throw to England. Hungarians drew here with Romania and Switzerland, and they won in Switzerland, remember, where of course England had that calamity in June and were beaten. A foul there by Grondalen on Kevin Keegan, who seems to be in pain with that left thigh. Keegan is usually a man who gets up quickly and bounces back, and that could mean a bit of trouble, and I think the Polish...
Slice at Kevin. Certainly has been a hectic tempo at the start of the game, and not the normal sort of international setting we're used to.
Well, we saw the challenge again there, and Grondalen was the guilty man. And it looks as though Keegan will battle on. A free kick to England, with Russell Osman having come up on the far side. Mariner is poised in the penalty area. Francis is right in there. Keegan's gone in as well. McDermott with the free kick. A deep one there towards Osman, but the keeper gathering it well. Grondalen, the man who fouled Keegan. Here's Phil Neal, flicked forward again, and Keegan on his way. Mariner in the middle. Played there for Paul Mariner. He couldn't get his header to it, but England got a corner off Einar Ors. Which McDermott will take. Mariner really flying in there. McDermott with it. A deep one again. Osman trying to get there but failed. Hoddle trying to dink it back in once more. Keegan into the middle of the action. And England looking for an early breakthrough, but it's Tom Lunt now coming away. Stopped though by Brian Robson. Phil Neal. Here's Mariner, come a bit wide. Neal again. McDermott. Brian Robson. And that was Hareide giving the ball to McDermott. Here's Keegan. That means that Francis has got to check back. About 23,500 fans here. £6 tickets said to be going for £180. Francis nodding it on there, Mariner getting almost in there, but the Norwegians closing up right at the end. It was Grondalen who turned the one away for the corner, but a nice bit of movement up front, Ron Atkinson.
Yeah, tremendous start this for England. We've looked busy, we've looked bright, we've looked very, very positive. I think the move to switch Keegan up front, that's fooled us all a little bit, so certainly paying dividends at the moment, and England are certainly in a very, very good vein.
Hoddle with the corner for England. Phil Thompson's come forward to this one. Keegan glancing it in there. Phil Thompson. And a save on the line. And they hooked that away in desperation for another England corner. McDermott with this one. Floated this time towards Keegan, but the keeper not under so much pressure on that occasion. But somehow Antonsson just clawed that shot out. And here's Auckland, one of the foreigners playing, in fact, in the West German League, and Thompson getting it back to Ray Clements, the man who got a vote of confidence from Ron Greenwood after that shaky start, not necessarily by him, but in his career at Tottenham. A free kick again to Norway. Einar Ors, or will it be Hareide? It's Hareide. Played wide there for Mickey Mills. And Mills dispossessed by Jakobsen. Now it's Berntsen, the fullback. Gitske. There's Francis. But Gitske again. In the army in Norway at the moment is the number 7. But thought to be going shortly, possibly to Ajax in Holland. Keegan. Inside for McDermott. Keegan again. A little touch here again, this time for Hoddle. Keegan, back for Hoddle again. Nice little dummy, gave himself a yard, and the flag was up here. Not against Keegan, but against McDermott, who didn't quite get back quickly onside. So it's another free kick to Norway. Norway with little left to play for, but their honour in this group. They are bottom of the group table with 4 points. England at the moment with 7 points. Got it on there by Francis. Keegan again playing in lively form up front, and again Einar Ors stopping him well. Mills playing that in again for Keegan, trying to chest it on for an on-running forward, but didn't get the touch that he wanted.
Ryan, the Norwegian back four certainly look very, very vulnerable at the moment, particularly the two central defenders. It looks very much as if Hareide looks as if he wants to be a right-sided defender, and he's actually going for the same ball as Arne Haas most of the while.
Thompson's header. Keegan, a little touch there. Brian Robson, forward for Mariner, who scored against the Norwegians at Wembley when England won 4-0 last year. And Mariner a little perplexed by that Polish decision. The free kick going to Norway, and it's with Tommy Lund. Torresson will be the man who masterminds everything in midfield for the Norwegians. Berntsen. Torresson again. Here's Mills. Dangerous thing to say, but England looking comfortable at the moment, but still 0-0 with 11 minutes gone. Berntsen, the number 2, played in for Lund. 31 years old tomorrow. And Albertson joining in. Across here towards Jakobsen. Phil Neal's got to win that one. Here's Paul Jakobsen again. Cross that in. Well stopped there by Phil Thompson. And played wide here for Neal. Down the line again, Keegan being closely marked. Norwegian manager saying before the game, if you stop Keegan, you stop England. And they're paying extra special attention and unfair attention there. Yet again, Keegan is hacked down, that time by Hareide. And another free kick for England. Well, Keegan Must be getting a little protection, surely, from the Polish referee, but here he is at the moment. Wide for Francis, not the best of balls for him. Berntsen out there for Norway. Francis played for Hoddle. Now we look to get the cross in. Been forced away again by Berntsen. Here's Francis again. Mills has come into the scene, but it's Keegan again. Played back there. Robson hitting it first time, and a goal kick. How's the pitch playing, Ron?
Pitch is playing very, very well. All the pre-match talk about it being bumpy and so forth. It's as good as any league pitch would be in about the middle of November. It's soft and it's short and it's very, very big, which will suit England.
It's fair to say that it was in a dreadful state yesterday, but clearly they've put a lot of water on it in those 24 hours. They've rolled it and they've mown it, and indeed it is, well, 500% better than it was when England came here to train yesterday. Francis now for Hoddle. Robson. Mills. Here's Keegan again coming away from his marker. Hareide bringing him down once more though, and Robson's cross cannoning off the Norwegian, and here come Norway again through their skipper Torresen. Oh, and he's given the ball away to Mariner. Now McDermott. Hoddle. England looking the superior side, but needing that goal really to settle themselves down fully. Francis showing the ball to Grondalen, getting past him, whipping in a superb cross there, and the keeper well up to gather it as Mariner closed in on the far post. This is Albertson. That's Osman's easy ball, a cushioned header there for Brian Robson. Now Mariner, still no goals here, with coming up to a quarter of an hour gone. Keegan, the little backward header, and England coming in here, and Robson, a goal! Yes, it is given! England's breakthrough, Brian Robson the scorer. Look at it again, the one they badly wanted. He really forced him way through there, past the keeper, past the defender Grondalen, on the ground, and hooking it in for an important first goal for England. Ron Atkinson.
Well, that's just the start we wanted, isn't it? We've had all these superior play. We've now capitalised on it. This is due to sheer persistence. Watch him go past here. It's nothing more. Might have been a suggestion of handball there, actually. Goes round the keeper, stumbles, persistent, and I think I'm right in saying that's his first goal for England, and he'll never score a more important one.
And a throw to England. Well, they've got something like 400 or 500 fans here, in spite of the fact that the FA tried to curb travel by English supporters, and so there's a good deal of cheering of English voices here at the moment. Keegan just stabbing that out for Neil. A flick in and a good one there by Mariner. A touch on for an offside Terry McDermott, and a free kick to Norway.
Very important now, you know, we don't start indulging in a bit of luxury play. It's important we just keep playing into the front people who seem to have enough pace and skill to destroy this Norwegian back four. Another goal now, Brian, and I think the game would be virtually wrapped up, you know, providing we score it, of course.
Very important point, but here's Jakobsen. Lund has gone on ahead of him. Mills is coming across to cover him, and it's a good cross coming in there. Auckland almost got a shot in there for Norway, and maybe that's the little warning that England required, for their concentration to come back and their determination with it. And here's Keegan. Francis has gone up ahead of him. Look at Mickey Mills there taking up a right wing position. Francis in possession. He might well be tempted to pass the ball. Here's Mills. And an offside there against the England captain, Kevin Keegan. Winning his 58th cap for his country today. Ors back to Antonsen, who had the agony of seeing the ball pushed past him there by Brian Robson. So if you've just turned on, you've just got home from work, with something like 17.5 minutes gone, England have gone into a priceless lead here in Oslo, A 0-0 scored by Brian Robson. Being carried away, a stupid sight that we don't want to see, and a long ball here coming in that we don't want to see particularly either, but Paul Jakobsen couldn't quite get up to it, and it's a goal kick.
We've heard an awful lot about the boy Jakobsen, haven't we? And in the brief sort of flashes when Norway have attacked, he's looked to be very, very bright. In fact, it's important that Thompson and Osman do keep a little bit of a tight watch on him, because he looks as if he could go about the business if he's allowed to.
Here's Francis in a surprising amount of space down that left flank for England. Keegan's gone out there with him. Still Francis, the little chip in there, but I don't think McDermott will get to it. And it's Torresson getting it away there for Berntsen. In for Torresson again. Now here's Lunt. And a ball here for Jakobsen, a dangerous ball, but he's offside. But again, they took their eyes off this man for a moment, and he suddenly had 4 or 5 yards. And it was a beautiful ball that Jakobsen got from Tommy Lunt. Mills. Robson. Mills again. Here's Keegan. Very deep indeed. Now Thompson. Here's Russell Osman. Hoddle dummying it, and Francis dummying it. And here's Mariner with 2 or 3 white shirts in the middle, but it wasn't a good cross by Mariner. But he's battling away there. That's the sort of spirit that we saw in Budapest, and we're seeing here again at the moment tonight, with England leading by a 0-0. But here come Norway again with Lunt. Such a fabulous national footballing hero, Tommy Lunt. And that cross cut out by Russell Osman. Lunt looks as though he wants it to go for a corner, but it won't go. And it's Phil Thompson who gets it away for England. Now, England on the break again with Keegan. Francis up ahead of him. And that's a free kick. They're not sparing Keegan anything, Ron.
Well, obviously with his reputation, they're trying to sort him out a little bit. But I don't think you'll mind that, you know, if he gets up and walks away and we keep getting free kicks and building up pressure.
Well, the man who did it there was Roger Albertson, who plays in Belgium. And he's got a bit of a reputation for tough arm tactics. They call him Red Rog for the number of red cards he's got. Here's a cross from England. And McDermott played back this time for Neil, and almost an own goal that time off Grondalen. And a corner for England. And the Norwegian defence, I must say, were all over the place here.
Well, that would be exactly right. In fact, we've just taken the free kick on Keegan, and their defenders are all walking away, not even looking at the game. And they look very, very naive at the moment.
Well, it's McDermott, and England looking for a second goal. But not getting it that way from Brian Robson, who scored the first for England after 15 minutes. Tommy Lunt getting a bit of advice on the touchline there from Tor Fossen, the young Norwegian manager. And Tor Antonsson, whose job when he's not playing football is as a telephone engineer, leaving the goal kick there to Albertson. Now Jakobsen, played for Lunt, going wide down this left now, with Auckland in the middle, Paul Jakobsen in the middle as well, and stopped well by Phil Thompson, who was not to be tempted into a rash challenge. But here's Grondalen again for Norway. Auckland going in there, calling for it, getting it, squatting on it. Robson getting in there. Well, I can't think what that free kick was for, but it could present some danger for England, because the Norwegians have a reputation of being absolutely excellent with anything with a dead ball. Ron Greenwood is well aware of that, and it could well be someone like Torresson or Jakobsen, or Tommy Lunt is normally involved, but he's in the wall at the moment, and it looks as though it might be a little pass played to Paul Jakobsen. There it is. Hits straight into the wall, and England get it away. Hoddle with a little pass here for Keegan. Torreson, no foul. Phil Thompson looking very steady indeed, getting that one away. And a good, strong, fair challenge, that one by Robson. A little touch there by Keegan, not quite finding Huddle. But here's Francis coming forward again for England. Mariner in a bit of space on the far side. Huddle, a little touch there, didn't quite come off, but there was a handball too by McDermott and a free kick to Norway.
Brian, in terms of commitment, drive and passion, this is the best I've seen an England team play for a long, long time. We've set about the business as if we're going to do it tonight.
Well, they've set about the business there and conceded a free kick. Which Albertson will take. The number 5, Grondalen's up, and the big Hareide, who has scored 1 or 2 important goals for Norway, is right up there, the big fair-haired number 3, deep in the box. So if Albertson plays this one deep, he's going to be the man to watch out for, but it won't get to him. And England, who'd pulled everybody except Trevor Francis back, got it away as far as Einar Ors. Here's Albertson again. Cross the time. Oh, Paul Jakobsen miskicked there, but it could have been nasty, and that certainly isn't nasty, as Grondalen plays that way, way wide for an England goal kick. 24 minutes gone. England leading by a goal to nil here in Oslo. The scorer, Brian Robson, after 15 minutes. Phil Neal. Mariner. Neal trying to get that into the path of McDermott. Fix it there, and it didn't quite fall for Mariner, who was following up. And here come Norway again. Their skipper, Torreson. Well, there was a bobble on that one. He was a bit unfortunate, and Huddle got caught in possession by Paul Jakobsen. Berntsen, or rather Hareide, and an England throw. In fact, overall, England have played 5 times against the Norwegians and won every time, with a goal tally of 24-2. Here's Mills. And now Keegan. Here's Huddle. And he played that nicely in for Keegan. On for Mariner. Oh, the ball bobbled a little bit there for Mariner. That didn't help him, but he still found Phil Neal. McDermott wanting it through there, but it was cut out well again that time by Grondalen. Torreson for Norway. 25 minutes gone, 1-0 to England. Grondalen, man who skippered them, in fact, at Wembley when Torreson was unfit to play. Auckland, here's the skipper Torreson tonight. Grondalen. Take it again for Auckland. And a foul by Phil Neal. And I tremble a little bit when they concede free kicks around this penalty area, because there's no doubt the Norwegians have a very good reputation for coming up with something a little unexpected. This time it's a combination of Grondalen and Lund. But on the far side, Hareide, I see, has come up. Auckland's there, Paul Jakobsen's in there, Anderson's in there, and it might come for Russell Osman. And a good save by Ray Clements, and a very important save as well. A flying header as Hareide came in there. What a good save this was by Clements. He caught that so powerfully, and Clements was down so quick.
Well, it just shows how we can't afford to relax there, Brian. We knew this big lad Hareide was going to be good on free kicks, set plays, coming up and loading himself in. And quite honestly, that could have been a disaster for England.
And certainly any doubts that anybody had about Ray Clements being a little bit shell-shocked with the 10 goals that he has picked out of the back of the net during the 4 games at Tottenham. Well, Ray had his answer there. Supreme piece of goalkeeping.
Mind you, in all fairness, Brian, he won't mind playing behind Neal, Thompson, Osman and Neal, but that's a little bit good for him, isn't it?
Yes, it's a question of not denigrating in any way the Spurs defence, but playing behind different people who play in a slightly different way. And well, he showed just a moment ago what a great goalkeeper he is. Giske now playing the ball forward, the number 7 to Tommy Lund. Cut out by Hoddle. But not cut out forcefully enough, as Albertson plays the ball in there, and Phil Thompson getting it away. A little bit of respite there for England. Here's Hoddle again. Oh, and Hoddle almost gave it away. And it took Mills to come in and do a rescue act. Two poor balls there by Glenn Hoddle. But England are coming forward again now with Keegan. And now Robson, the goal scorer, after 15 minutes. Played inside for Hoddle. Is he going to hit this one? He is. And that wasn't far away. Curling away from Antonsson. And a goal kick to Norway.
So important now, you know, that we keep the ball up to our front people, because if we start indulging ourselves in midfield and playing little triangles and things like that, we're going to let them into the game. And I believe we've only got to keep hitting Francis, Mariner and Keegan, supporting them, and this could be anything for us.
At the moment, it's Torresson finding Lund. A little thick in there for Torresson, played in much too firmly though. The return ball for Lund. And here's this long ball forward, but Mariner can't get there. Ors getting it back to his keeper. Coming up to the half hour in this World Cup qualifier here in Oslo, with a score 1-0 to England. Keegan taking it up after Francis had stumbled. And it's England's ball. Oss. Go on, Darlin. It's a funny ball, but he's headed it back to his goalkeeper. Lund. England's ball. Interesting character, that number 11, Tommy Lund there. He's so in love with English football that he spends a fair bit of the winter months in England when it's the close season here, just to come across and watch Tottenham play. The greatest Spurs fans in Norway, apparently, the Norwegian number 11. Now chasing after Phil Mill here to close him down. And getting that one away there, Lund. Auckland. This will be for Mickey Mills, all the time that he wants. Played wide for Keegan. Turned in here for Hoddle. Letting it run and looking forward to finding Mariner, but Mariner beaten in the air. Francis ducking in after it though, with its Torresson after him, and a corner for England. If England win here tonight, and of course complete the job against Hungary at Wembley in the one remaining World Cup game to come, how the season throughout England will blossom. Neil playing it in there, but the Norwegian keeper, Antonsson, quite easy, safe gather for him. Bjarne Benson now. Ron Atkinson.
Yeah, that's been a bit of a flaw in our play. That's that corner typified it. We've had good crossing positions, and we haven't really produced good enough balls from those situations. We've loaded them into the keeper's hands, which, considering he hasn't played international...
Oh, there's a shot.
Considering he hasn't played international football for a time, he would like.
Some shot here from Albertson, and again a warning that they do like to bang in their shots. And I think if that had just crept inside the post, I don't think Ray Clements would have smelt it. Yes, I should think in the end maybe about 5 yards wide. But England 1 goal to the good, and it would be so good to settle everybody at home and here, I would think, if we could add another one before half-time. McDermott going, hesitated for a moment, won the ball fairly. Brian Robson now, again that long ball played forward, but a fairly aimless one there, and an inaccurate one. Heine Ors. Gisde now for Norway. Auckland, and another free kick to Norway. Another pile driver on its way in the direction of Ray Clements, I would imagine. This time Ors has come up, and Albertson, who we saw strike a tremendous shot just now, is also lined up behind it. Keegan battling on the ball, they're being pushed away by the referee, and really Kevin should be back. Now, who's going to have a crack at this one? Looks as though it might be Heine Ors, the Nottingham Forest defender. There he goes, but he didn't get the sort of shot in that he really wanted. Only Francis was up for England, and he was on the far side, so Grondalen has plenty of time to curl it back in there once more. And Mills must get there before Jakobsen. And Jakobsen really hit one again. Off Mickey Mills that time for another Norwegian corner. And the pressure on England a little bit at the moment as we come to the last 10 minutes of the first half, with England leading by 1-0. Tommy Lunt with the corner for Norway. Ray Clements knowing that something is going to come his way now. So Lunt with a corner, floated in there, punched away though. Knocked out again that time by the skipper Torresson, once more to Lunt. There's a good cross coming in once more, and it's gone in! It's gone in! And Tommy Lunt and Albertson are there, and Norway have equalised. It must have just been a touch by Albertson, although I think Lunt will say, I wouldn't mind claiming that myself. There he is, he's saying, yes, it just touched it, Albertson. Well, the point is that it is a goal for Norway, and they are level at 1-1. A disaster for England.
It is indeed, Brian. In fact, we're just saying about the quality of the English crossing. There's a first-class example of what we're talking about. Got to feel that Ray Clements might be taking some of the blame for that one, though.
Well, England have work to do now. With a score 1-1 and 9 minutes to go to half-time. A silly goal to give away, but given away it's been when England looked to be so in command. So now they've got to get their heads down, no indulgences, and a lot of hard professional play. Torresson now for Norway. Auckland playing it on. Paul Jakobsen's in there, but fortunately for England, Phil Thompson was as well. And the ball rolled out to Mick Mills. Robson for Francis. Ors has gone with him. England under the cosh at the moment and need to show the character of a national side that means to get to the World Cup finals in Spain. Russell Osman now on the ball. Phil Thompson seeking just a moment to sort themselves out. Well, it seems to be part and parcel of England matches abroad at the moment. Keegan. Well, go on then. A little flick in, but nobody was there. The man who's claiming the goal, Albertson, some scuffles there in the crowd. A long ball played here with the number 7, Giska. Horse. Here come Norway again. This time Hreider. Played wide again for Auckland, but too wide, the ball into touch. Thompson. Played there, nice ball by Robson for McDermott. Here's Francis. A little chip in this time for Paul Mariner, the back heel. That was never going to come off. McDermott, now Francis. Still in play there. Torresen, the Norwegian captain, with it, calmly back without any pressure to his goalkeeper, Tor Antonsson. Ron Atkinson.
Ron, I must be fair. I mean, I've said that I'm very critical of the Norwegian back four, but every time they come forward, the Norwegians, in sustained attacks, they look as if they've got a lot of bright ideas, so it's very, very important that we try and push them back and try and play on their back four, because their midfield players, once they get playing, certainly know what it's all about.
McDermott getting it back for Neil. Back to Clements. Lunt. Well, there's space here for Albertson, who's made some very good run forwards from the midfield. Lunt now playing it for Auckland on the far side. And McDermott not knowing where he is, and a goal! Auckland has put Norway ahead. A terrible mistake there by Terry McDermott. And there's the goal by Torresen, the Norwegian skipper, and England are behind.
What a Jekyll and a Hyde performance this is. For half an hour, I'm saying it's the best English performance I've seen for ages. The last 5-10 minutes or so, we've gone absolutely chaotic. We're getting overrun in midfield. Robson seems to be trying to stem the flow on his own. Haven't seen Hoddle for the last 10 minutes in terms of trying to win the ball and do a defending job. We've got a whole lot of problems now.
Well, we've dug a mighty big hole, and as we have 4 minutes left to half-time, we've somehow got to dig ourselves out of it. Torresen, the scorer, having added to a goal scored by Albertson after Brian Robson had put England ahead with a quarter of an hour gone, and everything seemed to be going so well. A free kick to England. And both really, Ron, moments of appalling defence.
Well, you know, you're looking for Terry McDermott to do damage in the other penalty box, aren't you, normally? And I can't recall him ever doing anything like that in his life.
So a free kick to England, suddenly 2-1 down. Francis trying to get in there. Hoddle, he can't get there. Phil Neal trying to play it wide again for Mills. Francis again having a shot charged down. Keegan didn't seem to expect that rebound, And now England trying to put pressure on the Norwegians again as we come towards the last couple of minutes of the first half. Robson. Osman. Played in towards Mariner. Couldn't get the header in. Berntsen was there for Norway. And the Norwegian crowd are absolutely cock-a-hoop now, as you'd expect. Having looked to be pushed out of this by that early England goal and that early England superiority, suddenly, unexpectedly, they're 2-1 ahead. Keegan, Neil, Francis. Suddenly they're looking so much more confident and so much more organised now at the back, the Norwegians. Lunt shrugging off the challenge of Robson, playing the ball in there once again to Torresson, with Albertson on the far side. Lunt, almost casually wide there again for Albertson, that time Osman, but again Torresson trying to get his shot in, Albertson in there as well, and here's Hoddle for England. And there's no doubt that the hole that England have dug is entirely of their own making. Robson.
Brian, we really have got to come to grips with their midfield. Torrenson and Lunt are just running beyond us now, and it seems like Terry McDermott and Glenn Hoddle have just faded from the scene with regard to defensive quality.
McDermott in with the cross there. At that time it was Haraider getting it away to Lunt. Made that time by the skipper Torresson towards Jakobsen, but it's England's throw. We're in the last minute of the first half, and the referee should be adding a little bit for stoppages. There was certainly an injury to Keegan, but England 2-1 down. He's looking at his watch, he's blown the whistle for half-time, and that's a disastrous first 45 minutes for England, having gone ahead with a goal by Brian Robson, having then found an equaliser Norway through Albertson on the left there. There are the two scorers, in fact, for Norway, and then Torresson getting that goal after the mistake by Terry McDermott, putting England into all sorts of trouble. Well, we'll hear what John Bond in the studio has to say about that. We'll have the whole of the second half after this break.
Further out, in line.
I can hear you, yeah.
He won't be inclined to do anything yet, changes-wise.
Not yet, so I think he's got to give the lads another 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Then I think he'll be calm soon.
Will you read a countdown from there? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Who's going to mean, tell them they'll have to go like that, or something like that. Are they going to do that? Well, where's Roy? I can't see him. Where is he? You see Brian and Ron. Where's Roy? Where's the other Brian? Is he there?
Yeah, he's cool.
Trevor, it's one of those things where suddenly I may just start talking.
Yeah, right, obviously. They'll probably want to show the goals as well.
Yes. Very unfortunate. Terry set the...
Ball up for the fella.
What should we say with that?
They could have hooked it away with his left or sort of hooked it on the right on the turn, but he didn't do either. And
welcome back again to Oslo. There are no substitutions at half-time so far as England are concerned. And here we're seeing again the replay of that second crucial goal when Terry McDermott got the touch, could do no more. Torreson was turning on it, and he went under Ray Clemence's body into the back of the net for that crucial and devastating second goal. Well, England are now left with 45 minutes to rebuild their World Cup hopes. A defeat here would be absolutely disastrous, a calamity in terms of qualifying for Spain next summer. And the Norwegians coming out, as you can imagine, with the pendulum having swung their way, full of bounce, and they're going to take an awful lot of subduing by England in these 45 minutes. A quick word from you, Ron Atkinson.
Yes, well, I'd like to see us go straight away, Brian, into the rhythm we started with. The organisation, the total mastery of the middle of the park. That's where I feel that Glenn Hoddle and Terry McDermott have got a tremendous responsibility now. They've got to start subduing the Sorensens and the Londs of this world, and we've got to take the game to them.
Well, the Polish referee, Mr. Kaspiak, looking around to make everything's in order, and England get away for 45 minutes. That is absolutely crucial in terms of their qualifying for the World Cup finals. Here's Phil Neal. You can imagine that Ron Greenwood must have read the riot act in that dressing room at half-time, because there's no doubt that England lost their concentration after being on top, and impressively so for the first 30 minutes of the game, and then conceded those two bad goals to be 2-1 down. Keegan being fed there by Francis, and two players are down at the moment there. One of them is Jitska, the midfielder. Can't see for the moment there. It looks as though who the England player is there. Ron Atkinson, Brian Robson.
Looks very much like Brian Robson, doesn't it? They seem to challenge in the air and both clashed heads, I think.
Yes, Brian Robson. So Fred Street comes on to administer what help he can. And so you were saying that we need to subdue things a good deal in midfield?
Yes, I mean, we completely bossed the game, as we've said so many times, for the first half an hour, and then all of a sudden, they didn't appear to change tactically, but Torrensen and Lund, who were both good players, both experienced players, started running past our midfield, and we lost all our marking and all our discipline. And from a team that was playing very, very well, we looked to be, quite honestly, in terms of organisation, shambles for the last quarter of an hour.
Well, Jiska, the number 7 for Norway, is okay. And Similarly, Brian Robson is on his feet. And although the Norwegians were saying before the game that they felt they could give a very good account of themselves, I think a lot of people just wondered whether, with so many amateurs in their side, whether their concentration would hold up under pressure for 90 minutes. It didn't when they played Hungary here, when they were leading for the bulk of the game and gave away a couple of silly goals that lost them the match in the very closing stages. Well, English fans must hope that the same thing happens here. That was an aimless ball there by Brian Robson. Never looked likely to reach Kevin Keegan, and so it's a throw which Bjarne Bentsen will take for Norway. Albertson, scorer of the first goal, at least the man who claimed the first goal, although there's a school of thought that it may have gone in straight from Tommy Lund. But Albertson, the man who claimed it. Here he is with the throw for Norway. Jakobsen. Oh, Mills in there for England. But it's a little touch there from Osman. He was a shade lucky. Played here for Phil Thompson. And here's Mills on the far side, aided and abetted by Trevor Francis. Played in there early for Paul Mariner. Francis again, looking to get to that byline and maybe whip across in, but he's got a corner for England. Sign once more for Phil Thompson to come forward, but the corner's already taken, floated high there, but again the crossing that let England down in the first half, allowing Antonsson to dominate that 6-yard area, giving oncoming forwards no chance at all, was in evidence again there.
It must really be crossing Ron Greenwood's mind, I would feel now, Brian, of whether the value of throwing on a wide play. He's got Barnsley in the squad there, and they look a bit vulnerable. They look a bit vulnerable in their full-back positions. Whether it should be worth a calculated gamble and giving us a bit of width and somebody that can race at them on a flank.
A foul by Tommy Lund, giving England an unpopular free kick with the Norwegian crowd, and it looked, I must say, as though the number 11 did play the ball. But the free kick nonetheless given, and Glenn Hoddle will take it. Mills has gone sprinting down the left here. That's a beautifully weighted ball by Hoddle, and a good cross coming in for Mills, for Mariner rather. McDermott playing it wide again for Mills. Here's Hoddle turning, right foot crossing this time towards Mariner once more. Once again, Francis on the far side, looking to get to that byline, succeeds in doing so, pulls one back for Keegan, headed off the line, and Keegan, no, the flag was up, and England came close there. It seemed to getting the equaliser, but the flag was up, headed off the line by the Norwegian captain. And it's a free kick to Norway.
I think that was out of play, Brian. I think Trevor Francis may just have overrun the ball.
No, he didn't. It was in play. So it's hard to see what that was given for. But a free kick it is. 5 minutes of the second half gone, and Norway leading by 2-1. A flick there, and it's Jakobsen in, and Clemens has saved. Well, that was another heart-stopping moment for England, and another goal there, and I think we would have been dead. Suddenly Jakobsen was through, and at least it was a half stop by Ray Clemens, and he was able to dive on it the second time, as Jakobsen was put through superbly there by Tommy Lund. Well, they're still buzzing around the stadium with that one, as England try to work it forward again. It's Mariner feeding Keegan there. Keegan now trying to repair some damage, and Mariner sweeps it just wide of the far post.
Well, we've just seen two magical pieces of forward play, haven't we? One there by Mariner where he dominated, like Keegan back in. But really, this is a situation now. Keegan does very, very well. Just slightly behind Paul Mariner.
And
maybe
sadly for England, Robson was just behind him as well. Here in Norway, with Einar Ors, now playing his football up at Nottingham Forest. Torresen to Grondalen. And they were a little slack there. and it lets England through here with Mariner. Played wide again towards Kevin Keegan, battling to get out there before that ball goes out of play, but couldn't quite make it. So it's Norway's throw, and Ron Greenwood on the right of the picture there, looking just a little concerned, as you would expect him to be. Jiska. Flick towards Auckland. England playing it again forward towards Paul Mariner, hoping that he can win it in the air, which he does. Keegan again storming out there after it. Francis brought down and a free kick. And it's taken quickly. It's with McDermott. Trevor Francis once more tried to play that in for Phil Neal, but it wasn't nearly accurate enough. But Thompson had pushed right forward there. Hoddle helping on its way. Played in again there with a bit of urgency by Robson, but not accurately enough. And Lund playing the ball down the flank here, and Russell Osman looking to get it back, spotting that Paul Jacobsen was coming in. Thompson, Osman, Mills, Huddle. Maybe a bit of space there for Phil Neal. Here's Brian Robson, looking to get it onto the left foot, but took far too long about it. And Torreson was there to dispossess him, almost arrogantly sweep it wide there for Albertson. And here they come again with Auckland this time, supported in the middle by Tommy Lund. And Osman couldn't get to him. Lund trying to cross it in, and Thompson doing a good saving job for England. And England looked cruelly exposed at the back there as Norway made that break down the right. The danger is, I suppose, Ron Atkinson, that by pushing people forward, looking for this equalising goal and then one after that, that we might in fact have to take the odd risk at the back.
Well, that would be right. Plus the fact, of course, they've got front people, Jacobsen and so forth, that have got good pace and are bright enough to exploit any space we might leave. So we have got a bit of a dilemma.
At the moment, it's Francis. Playing wide out there on the right still. Keegan trying to get it, but the Norwegians had something like 8 players back there, just Jacobsen and Auckland up front. And they are going to be very difficult to break down. Here's Lund. Well, I think he made a meal of that. But the referee, nonetheless, is going to have a word with Phil Neal. Let's have a look. Well, it was a shove in the back more than anything else, and Tommy Lund still down, requiring a bit of treatment.
Yeah, that's the sort of frustration that sets in when things are going astray, and they certainly are going astray at the moment. Since half-time, it seems as if Francis has been pushed into a slightly wider position on the right. Maybe perhaps a little bit deeper than certainly than I would like to see him, but whether he's playing to instructions or whether he just genuinely can't get into the game. I think it's important that that we follow the sort of example that Keegan has set us. There's one or two people in the past 12 months or so have wondered about his international career, but for me, Brian, by and large, he's been our best player tonight. He's led us with spirit, he's led us with verve, and at least he looks as if he wants to keep us in the World Cup.
Well, I think Kevin knows, Ray Clements will know, Mick Mills will know, Phil Neal will know, they're around the 30 mark, that if they don't get to the World Cup finals this time, they never will. And that, no doubt, has been a motivating factor for them, as they have to defend now as Lund is back on his feet, and Norway get a free kick. Hard towards Ray Clements, and no problem at all for him. Played wide for Mickey Mills. Here's Hoddle. In for Keegan, but it was cut out, and it really gave Keegan no chance. Paul Jacobsen was back there, supported there by Albertson. In goes Brian Robson, and in the end it's Hareide getting it back to his goalkeeper, Tor Antonsson. Albertson with a little flick on, but here's Mills for England. Keegan. Norway's throw. Nothing at the moment remotely going right for England. Harada, now maybe it is, as Hoddle dispossesses the number 3. Mariner can't get there, and it's going to be the skipper, Torresson. Oh no, Robson beats him, and now Francis looking to get into the box as well, and a goal kick. A couple of mistakes there in the Norwegian defence, suggesting maybe that their minds for a moment were elsewhere, Ron.
Yeah, that would be right. I think we said at the onset that they didn't look as if they were particularly good at concentrating as a back four. Trevor Francis is an enigma, isn't he, when he plays for England? I mean, that situation he was just in there, I'm sure if he'd have been playing for Manchester City, Nottingham Forest or Birmingham City, he'd have paralysed the left full back and got his shot in.
Well, time is going fast now, 13 minutes gone. 2-1 to Norway. Francis again, showing a lot of pace down there, and again, it's a goal kick, when I think Francis felt that it was a corner. But a goal kick it is. Russell Osman with the jump. Play back for Einar Ors. And the Norwegian down there. I can't see which one it is. From that angle, you wouldn't expect me to know. So Ron Atkinson with just over 30 minutes. It's Albertson, in fact, the tough man in the midfield.
Yeah. I just see, looking away to the right, Brian, I see that Peter Barnes is warming up. And I'm hopeful that if he is going to get thrown on, at least he gets a good chance, you know, a half hour at least, or something like that to have a go at them.
To give England a bit of pace and a bit of width. At the moment, with Norway down to 10 men, it's their throw to be taken by Paul Jakobsen. Albertson is back on the field, they're back at full strength. Hoddle, a little touch for Robson, and that was a foul by Albertson. So he was none the worse for his little injury, and England get a free kick. Mills with it. Phil Thompson. Phil Neal on the far side. Francis on the far touchline. Inside again for Phil Thompson. Mills has made a good break on this side. Keegan's right in there, but he needs some support. Brian Robson's in there. Now Mills. Now, can Mick Mills get his shot in? No, it's not him, it's one with Hoddle, and it was deflected away for the corner there by the number 7, Didska. He really didn't know much about it, and suddenly there was quite a pleasant little build-up there by England in that Norwegian penalty area. And here comes the corner. And the keeper gathering it well. Well, he really hasn't let them down at all. Tor Antonsson, who was the second choice keeper, Tom Jakobsen, the first choice, who played at Wembley last year, was injured. Skrondalen getting up with the rest of the back four. Didska. The back heel coming off there for Auckland. And Robson knocking it sideways here for Trevor Francis. The long ball played forward. Mariner not able to control it when it needed to be controlled, and concedes the free kick. 16 minutes of the second half gone. England 2-1 down. Osman couldn't get to it, and Mills just made the touch, and that could have saved England from further disaster, because this fella here, Paul Jakobsen, was in behind again, and from the moment Russell Osman couldn't quite get his head to that long cross, we were in trouble. And I think it'll be Glenn Hoddle who comes off when Peter Barnes comes on. They're getting the number 10 card ready as Tom Lund takes this corner for Norway. Floated in there, Clements lost it, and apparently was fouled by the Norwegian forward, and the game is on its way again. Francis. Auckland, there's a nice ball played in there for Tommy Lund, and a good advantage there played for the Norwegians. Into the side netting though, from their skipper Torresson, when if he'd been a little less selfish, a ball pulled back could have had England in more trouble. Peter Barnes is coming on any moment now. And at the other end, Keegan in possession for England. Played here for Hoddle. And the pass not reaching McDermott. Francis trying to make something of it, but Torresson had the beating of him. A long ball played into touch, and the chance now for England to replace Glenn Hoddle with the speed down the wing of Peter Barnes. A move you approve over on Atkinson?
Yes, I was thinking that if anyone's coming up, it's going to be Glenn. He hasn't really got into the game too much since the first 15 minutes, and by coming off, at least it gives us width, it gives us a bit of balance, and it means that rather than being a bit light in midfield, of course, I think you'll see Mickey Mills pushing on in there and giving us the extra strength in there as well. All I hope now, Brian, is that we feed Barnes and give him plenty of the ball and let him keep getting at the fullback.
Francis. And again, that time looking up to see whether he can find Keegan in there, the centre of that penalty area. Here's Mills coming in again. And a free kick to England. Strange decision, but England aren't going to argue with that.
It looked a little bit of both there, didn't it? But at this moment in time, we'll accept any charity.
At the moment, we need it. Keegan behind it, and Brian Robson behind it. And the Polish referee wanting the 5-man wall back 10 yards. But the strike looks as though it might come from Keegan. Oh, my word, he was so close there, it looked as though it might just float in for one moment as the keeper got across there. But just how close was it? Oh, pretty close. Goal kick, though, to Norway. "20 minutes of the second half gone. Norway leading by 2-1, all the goals coming in the first half. Robson. Barnes, his first real touch now. And that time Albertson was able to stop him and then goes down with cramp, I imagine. The referee is allowing it to go on, so effectively they've got 10 men. Now Barnes has got in there. There's his cross coming in towards Paul Mariner, Couldn't quite get up as he wanted, but the signs were there. If we can just get Barnes down that left flank. Albertson, who might well have to come off now.
Brian, I think that's the first cross we've had all game, haven't we, that hasn't gone down the keeper's throat. And that's what Barnsley can do for us if he's in the mood. Now, it's essential that they keep plugging the ball down his throat, making him have it, making him get at this fullback and making him produce balls of that quality.
A little less than 25 minutes to go. Keegan. Neil. Played for Mariner. Inside again for Neil, but it'll come loose, will it? No, yes, Neil will get there before Jakobsen. Here's Robson with Mariner away on the right-hand side. Here's Paul Mariner now for England. Crossed in once more towards Kevin Keegan. Phil Neal's right in there. The little chip coming this time again for Peter Barnes. And there are plenty of white shirts in that Norwegian goal mouth if Garns can get it across. Oh, and in the end, Antonsen had to turn it away. And in a way, it was almost a repeat of the first Norwegian goal that crept in by the near post. And England get a corner. Mills to Barnes. Hit by the outside of his boot there towards Keegan, and it had him in just a little bit of trouble for a moment. Neil getting it in again. A ducking little header there, and Keegan almost through, and it'll fall for Peter Barnes again. He could really make a name for himself in the 25 minutes or so that remain. Mick Mills now with a shot deflected, just wide of that post. And another corner for England. And with a quarter of an hour gone in Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia 0, Wales 0. So good luck to the Welshmen tonight, although nothing at the moment is going right for England. 2-1 down. Barnes with the corner. Osman trying to go in there and force his way into that situation. Neil playing it wide. There's urgency about England now as they cross it in again there towards Paul Mariner. And again the Norwegians get it away with Albertson. The long ball forward. Oh, and a slip there by Phil Thompson. And Jakobsen is through. It could be 3, and it's saved by Clements. My word, we were nearly out of it then. A slip by Phil Thompson, and Jakobsen, like the former sprinter that he is, was through and saw the whites of Ray Clements' eyes, and I thought we were out. But Clements parried and then saved at the second go. Mills now. Barnes. That's a cross behind the goal kick. Well, it'll be a calamity if England do get beaten here. It's still mathematically possible for England to be beaten and still qualify for the finals in Spain. But if you're a realist, you have to say if they go away from here beaten, they needn't bother about turning up on the Iberian Peninsula for the greatest football show of all next summer. To all intents and purposes, it will be the end, if not mathematically. So somewhere England have got to find one, better still, 2 goals in the 20 minutes that remain.
Brian, I believe the signs in the last 5 or 10 minutes have certainly been encouraging, apart from that little defensive lapse there. And I don't think we're out of it. I think we can get this one back now. We look as if we're at it again.
Mariner couldn't quite reach that one. Well, I'm sure there must be millions at home willing them on and hoping that you're right.
Yeah, it's about character now, isn't it? I mean, we've got to gamble. We've got to gamble. We've got to play 2 against 2 at the back. We've got to push Mick Mills and Philip Neal forward, and of course those are the risks you're going to run. Mistakes like that have just happened.
Well, they hesitated there, Mick Mills. The first mistake really he's made all night. He hesitated for a moment, and here's Lund in possession. And no danger for England. It's a goal kick. "31 years old tomorrow, Tom Lund. And at the moment it's going to be a birthday he remembers. No doubt he'll argue with Roger Albertson that it was he who scored the first goal, although it's Albertson who says, I got the touch. There's a good ball, getting Keegan in behind them, who's got Francis right in there as well. And Keegan hoped to get a free kick inside that penalty area, but the Polish referee didn't want to know.
I certainly think Keegan might have had something out of that, even at the worst, an indirect free kick, you know. It looked very much as if the guy blocked him off.
Albertson. Benson to Hreider. Played in again there for the speed of Jakobsen, but Clements always has been quick off his line and knows that he's got to be ever vigilant now as we take a few chances and take a risk against the pace of Paul Jakobsen. Keegan trying to dummy his way. In fact, it's a throw for England. Kevin Keegan with it. My word, how he's fought tonight. Phil Neal rifling one in there. The keeper well behind it. And as well for him, he gathered it up because Mariner was on him. A good, well-struck shot there from Phil Neal. And the keeper really pocketed that one. "17 minutes only remain now. Keegan knocking it on there. Here's McDermott. Here's Osman. This is Robson now for Peter Barnes. Albertson watching him. Berntsen in behind him. And that was a ball that Robson really had to struggle for. Mills. Playing it in for Neal, a back heel there by McDermott, almost got through there for Mariner, but the little touch now is going Norway's way with Arne Larsson Auckland finding Roger Albertson. And Mills cutting that out, but England still a goal down. Barnes. No, that'll be easily cut out. That wasn't really the work we wanted Peter Barnes to do. But Thompson was equal to the challenge of Jakobsen, and he'll need to be again as Jakobsen takes it up once more with Auckland in the middle. Well, he's gone past Thompson, but the shot in the end was a weak one. And Norway are bringing on a substitute themselves now, Arne Dokken, another of their professionals, who plays for Panathinaikos in Greece, and they're going to bring off Auckland, the number 9. Arne Dokken. Flag up for offside there against Mariner. Free kick to Norway. Exactly a quarter of an hour remaining now. And England, I notice, are warming up Peter With down there. A last desperate throw, it's got to be for Ron Greenwood now, to put another front man on. Well, it looks as though they may have changed their mind about who's coming off, and in the end, it's Tommy Lund who's come off, and Auckland who stayed on. The indications were certainly that the number 9 was coming off. The card was there. Lund then came across and had a word with the manager, and it's he who's come off and Dokken who's on. Keegan trying to come deep, but the pass didn't have enough weight on it from Mick Mills. Phil Neal. And in its way, it's a repeat of the Swiss game at the moment, where England really should have been in command, and sloppiness at the back meant that they fell behind, and they never ever quite pulled it back. So Peter With is down below me at the moment, and and it's going to be Paul Mariner who will come off. So it's a straight swap, striker for striker. Albertson heading it on, Mills playing it in here for his Ipswich teammate Russell Osman. And now Mills coming forward again for England. And they're playing some pretty aimless balls forward at the moment. They have lost that little bit of momentum that they had a few moments ago. And it's the Norwegians who are taking it up again. And the ball played through for an offside Auckland and a free kick to England. They've lost their momentum a little bit again.
We have indeed, Brian. Yes, we have indeed. It's about people have dropped heads, and perhaps one or two people think it might be inevitable now that we're not going to win. But you know, this was what, 12 minutes left of the most important game of this season, I would think. And it's important now. I mean, whether Big Withy can give us a lift, he'll battle. Whether he's got time enough to do so, whether he can get on the end of a cross from Barnes or something like that and give us a little bit of hope.
Keegan away there, hustling, but yes, he's got this one. And he's got a low cross in there. Robson to drive it. And unfortunately for him, it came off a Norwegian player to a Norwegian defender who was able to get it away. Barnes again. Kicked from behind by Albertson. A free kick to England. Barnes wanting to take it quickly. And it's Neil now. McDermott played there, inviting Thompson to come into it. Robson almost got the header in there, but the keeper just got to it before him. Neil again. Swept wide there by Russell Osman, but it wasn't a good ball. It's gone straight to Roger Albertson. Arnie Dokken. Free kick to Norway.
Brian, there'll be an awful lot of criticism levelled at England if we don't pull it off in this game, but I think one thing should be said on the players' behalf. I don't think at any given time, you know, they ever given anything less than total commitment. Whether it's been a little bit misguided at times, they've certainly battled to try and get a result.
Albertson challenged unfairly by Peter Barnes. And the bad news from Czechoslovakia is that Wales have fallen behind 1-0, an own goal. As yet, we don't know who the Welshman is who scored the own goal, but Czechoslovakia leading by a goal to 0 there. Here, Norway are 2-1 ahead as we come towards the last 10 minutes of the game, and they have this free kick, with Torresson playing it for Albertson. And a deep cross coming there towards Auckland. And Jakobsen wanting to get a shot in the end, the strike went to Giska. A little flick there by Torresson here for Albertson again. And again the cross, and a deep one coming in there towards Jakobsen. And Dokken completely missing his kick. Torresson again with a chance to tee something up. Looking for a 1-2, and in the end England were able to get it away. It was McDermott who did it. And here's Peter Barnes, and England have got to drive themselves forward now. Thompson. And now Neil. Plenty of white shirts are in there. The curling cross comes in, and it's Haraider who gets it away. And that's a Norway throw. 10 minutes to go. England now with both their substitutes on. The last die has been cast, the last gamble made, and if it comes off, well and good. If it doesn't, it's almost certain that England will be out of the World Cup. Not mathematically, but to all intents and purposes, they'll be out. And so it's a critical 10 minutes. Robson trying to get it through for Keegan. Nobody has fought harder than Kevin Keegan tonight. Back for Peter Barnes, chipped in there. A low one that time, comes here for Mick Mills, played wide again for Peter Barnes. Got to keep putting pressure, hoping this Norwegian defence will crack, and there's a free kick. We could have done without the free kick in a way. It's a pity Barnes couldn't just have got past Albertson before he was tripped. tension here is incredible, as it must be for you at home. Wondering whether England can possibly get themselves back into this game in the minutes that remain. Mills running over it, Barnes floating it in there, and a header down and wide there by Trevor Francis, who was not happy with the way he was dealt with by that Norwegian defence. And in fact, it looked a good header there for Francis. Everything was right, the shape and everything else. And really, he should have scored with that one, I think,
yes,
Ron.
I think Trevor will look at that later on and he'll feel very, very upset about that. That could be the most expensive miss of his career, that.
McDermott, but England are not out of it yet. Coming forward once more. Here's Francis again on the ball for them. Played again for Terry McDermott. Again the cross comes in, and again Haraida's there, but McDermott trying to pick it up again for England. Russell Osman, they've all come forward now, and Osman, goodness knows what he's trying there.
That's what happens, doesn't it, Brian? Frustration sets in, they're trying to throw it forward too early. If they can just now keep a little bit of composure and keep easing it wide, I still believe we can make something out of this.
Einar Ors. Well, if we lose this one, you can imagine how they'll jump for joy in Romania and in Hungary, because suddenly they will become the favourites to go through, and the Hungarians, who were so down when they were beaten at home by England in June, suddenly their chances really have come to life again. Thompson. Barnes getting in there, but that wasn't the header we wanted, and it's another goal kick. It's a matter of 7 minutes now. And also with the goal kick for Norway. Neil winning it. As Ron Atkinson was saying, you can't argue with the commitment. All you can argue about is that they made two such bad errors in defence that frankly in international football shouldn't happen at this level, and quite rightly they were punished. Well, it's a throw for England. Or maybe a free kick. No, it's a throw which Mickey Mills wants to take. Keegan again for the umpteenth time coming off his man. But this time Einar Ors has got the better of him. Berntsen bringing it forward again. Albertson. I mean, this will be one of the greatest days in Norway's football history if they can pull this one off. And here's Jakobsen, and he's got plenty of support. And he was obstructed by Phil Neal. And it's a free kick for Norway. He's got fantastic pace, this fella, and it's astonishing that somebody in one of the major European footballing countries hadn't picked him up, you know, Ron.
Yeah, well, he's been talked about an awful lot, hasn't he, since he scored? Was it the 4 goals against Finland 12 months ago? He's certainly, tonight he's showing as much as I think I've seen him in any game.
So, another problem for England, already 2 goals to 1 down, with only 5 minutes remaining, and Clements gathering that ball, taking a buffeting then from Haraida. Free kick for England. Neil taking it wide on the far side. That's the score, that's the time. 5 minutes of this World Cup tie remaining, and Keegan battling on again, followed by Einar Ors. Flick there for Francis. Well, a flash from him wouldn't come amiss now. Neil playing it in there. Keegan once more going towards it. And 1 or 2 of them at the back, they're looking a little tired in this Norwegian side. Peter With getting a hitter there, but, well, if anything, it seemed to me that With was knocked off that ball, but the referee saw it another way and has given Norway the free kick.
I think he can consider himself a bit unlucky there, Brian. It looks as if he'd got himself into a perfect position not to soup a little header down.
And now making their second substitute. Keegan. A foul there by Haraida. And They're going to bring on a defender, Trond Pedersen, and take off the number 9, Arne Larsen Auckland. Well, they've thrown another defender on, they've taken a forward off. The intention is absolutely clear. What we have, say the Norwegians, we mean to hold in the 2 minutes or so that remain. But England with the free kick. Played there for Robson. A little chip there for Keegan, lifting himself once more, but not the right direction. And it's Paul Jacobsen who hits it high into the air. Thompson battling for it with Albertson. And away come Norway again with Roger Albertson. Jacobsen up there with him. Barnes coming right back there. And in the end, the ball through to Clements. So little time and so much for England to do. Still 2 goals to 1 down. Phil Thompson. Trevor Francis. And Peter Barnes lost his way, lost his feet, lost the ball, and England get a throw. Oh, for a goal for England now. Keegan. Played in again, and it wouldn't come. And in, oh, almost the strangest of own goals. As Antonsen just got down there and grabbed it as it looked as though it might squirm past him. Keegan on the turn, and in fact it came off a defender. There. And the keeper was off balance and suddenly in a bit of trouble. Norwegian crowd already beginning to celebrate, with a little more than a minute and a half left. Well, it's for sure England are not going to win it, but a draw would be some compensation, and that's going to take a bit of getting as well. A free kick to Norway. It lifts all up with us, Ron Atkinson.
Well, you don't like to say that, do you? You know, there's still a minute left, as you say, and we hope that we can perhaps salvage something, but to be perfectly honest, I don't quite see how we're going to do it now.
Well, we're going to have to look for 1 or 2 miracles in the group games that remain. If by beating Hungary at Wembley, we will still only get to 9 points, and that, I fear, is not going to be enough. The referee's already looked at his watch. England 2-1 down after looking so good for the first 30 minutes of this game, which they absolutely controlled and took the lead. And then those 2 awful mistakes in defence before half-time, and in no way have they been able to pull it back in this second half. Osman playing the long ball forward again. The whole Norwegian crowd are whistling a hint to the referee. Osman playing it in again. Once more, England try so hard. Keegan in there, and Francis in there. Keegan getting it to Peter Barnes, trying to play it in there once more. But the Norwegians just happy to get that away. Peter with the header. Phil Neal will have to knock this in quickly. Terry McDermott played wide again for Brian Robson. The whistles are almost deafening here now. Hit another high one in there towards Keegan, gets up well. With tries to get in there, and a shot from Francis is wide of the goal. And everybody looks at the referee now. And England are almost beaten and almost out of the World Cup in realistic terms. He's looked at both linesmen. Barnes once more. And again the Norwegians get it deep into England's half. And a gloom has settled over English football again, as we look likely to be beaten now by the Norwegians. Keegan, and even then his header didn't go, it went to Jiska. And now to Torresen, the captain, the man who scored the second goal. Jakobsen looking for it, but England get it away, not very far. Torreson playing it wide here. They're singing songs of celebration here now. And England get a throw. On to McDermott. And the referee's added almost 2 minutes of injury time, but it's over now, and the impending disaster for England has become a reality, with Norway winning by 2-1. Their goals from Albertson and Torreson after Brian Robson had put England into the lead. Well, you can only say that it is a total disaster. There's the group table, and that says everything. Norway go up into third place, but suddenly Romania and Hungary become the favourites to go through to Spain next summer, and England become rank outsiders. It's a sad story we bring you from Oslo, as I hand you back now to Jim Rosenthal in London.
Ja, det er det. Hello, London. Can you hear me? Can you tell Brian Morton if you can hear me in London? Can you hear me? Talking from the pitch in Oslo. Can you hear me in London, please? Can you tell Brian Morton, who's on headphones and can hear you? Let Brian know if you can hear me in London. Can you hear me on the mic here in London? We're trying to get Ron Greenwood. Can you hear me in London? Can you hear me in London? Talking, yes. I don't know what you mean, Brian. Can you hear me in London? I'm talking to you. Can you hear me in London? If you can, would you tell Brian Morton? Still talking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No sign from Brian Morton that you can hear me. I assume you're going to be off the air in about a minute's time. I don't know whether you've got the longer running time or the shorter running time. If you've got the shorter running time, you've had it, I think, and we'll be recording this probably for ITN. Can you hear me in London? Give me a thumbs up, Brian, if you can hear me in London. No idea whether you can hear me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We are talking from the pitch. Can you hear me in London? I'd like to know whether you can hear me in London, please. This is Oslo from the pitch microphone. A bloody great band. You can hear me in London. Fine. Brian. Thumbs up, Brian. You can hear me. Fine. We're just waiting for Ron Greenwood to come. Are we off the air yet, or did you have the longer running time? Are we going live? Thumbs up if we're going live. Thumbs up if you're going live. Fine. Thank you. We're going live. 2 minutes.
In 2 minutes?
No. 2 minutes interview. We are going live, correct, Brian? Brian Morton, give me a thumbs up if we are going live. We've got Ron Greenwood coming now. Stand by. There you are. Bring Ron round this way.
Thank you for coming, Ron. Such a difficult time. I appreciate it very much. 2 minutes, Roy. You'll give me timings, will you?
2 minutes, yeah.
Trying to hear London. Apologise for the
Brian! Hurry up! Well, we can't hang on forever. We're waiting for the team going along. Are you going to record it on tape? You're recording the tape in London? Well, tape should be rolling all the time.
Right, you don't need to bother about timings then, Roy. Yeah, well, I think it'll be. I think it'll be principally news at 10 now.
Time. Okay.
Is it live? Ask him, Roy.
Is it live? Right.
Ron Greenwood, what do you feel went wrong?
That's a funny question. You know, what do you think went wrong? Basically, what you've got to do is look at the game of football, and it's not a question of what went wrong, it's what you've done yourself. And basically, we started off well, we got the goal we wanted, and then unfortunately, like always, we had about a mad 5 minutes again, like we did in Switzerland. We had 2 minutes in Switzerland, we had 5 minutes here, and they made a change in midfield and caused us a few problems. And well, unfortunately, there was a mistake on the second goal, and you can't justify for that. That's what mistakes are made in football. And we got punished for it. In the second half, one of their players made a similar mistake, and it just skidded off his leg and went for a corner. That's football. We sorted out at half-time. We were on top all the second half. The only chance they had was on breaks, which, of course, were bound to happen. But in the main, we just couldn't break them down, and you've got to give them credit. As I said to the lads, you see, the one thing, whether everybody else thinks we're a great footballing nation, the one thing every nation wants to do is beat England, and these lads laid their life down, you know, in the sense they probably won't do that against any of the other countries. So it's a tribute, and yet at the same time, it's a disaster.
Ideally, would you have liked to play the side that did so well in Hungary tonight?
No, well, that's not possible. Circumstances didn't allow that, so we had to accept the fact that we had to play the people who were available, and we started off well. They adjusted themselves to the problems that we were causing them, and unfortunately, just before half-time, we didn't adjust to what they were causing the problems to us. We sorted that out at half-time, and then we weren't in any danger second half, except, of course, on simple breakaways when, unfortunately, Phil Thompson slipped, which is bound to happen in any game. But we just couldn't break them down. You've got to give them credit. They deserved and worked very hard for what they got.
There are so many mathematical possibilities in this particular section.
Yes,
They're absolutely endless.
Yeah.
How do you assess the position now?
Well, we just talked about it in the dressing room, and everybody's very low, as you can imagine. But then, as I said to them, well, we've got to accept responsibility because we failed. But there is a possibility that it's still hope, in as much that we've lost 7 points now, which is disastrous really in itself. And if we beat Hungary at Wembley and Romania beat Hungary, well, they'll have lost 7 points, and our goal difference is much better than anybody else's. So that's the way it is at the moment.
The possibility of failure to qualify again, yet again, I mean, it must be unthinkable to so many people at home. Is there any one reason you could put your finger on for it? About our game, about the players we're producing?
It isn't. This is where we failed to qualify for Argentina on goal difference, you know. We might gain qualification to Spain on goal difference. That's the probabilities of football. It's rather sad. We're disappointed. We felt that we wanted to do well. We started off well. We felt that we kept going in the second half, but they defended well, and they laid their lives down to stop us scoring goals, and that's what football's all about. You can't legislate. Two games are not the same. Just the fact is that we played against Hungary and we played well. You come here, this is a different ball game.
Briefly, can I ask personally, are you anxious to carry on?
It is a question of anxious to carry on. You fellas ask leading questions all the time. It's in other people's hands whether I carry on. If we're to accept responsibility, all of us accept responsibility. I don't accept responsibility. The players accept it as well, which they're willing to do. So we're all in the same boat.
Ron Greenwood, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
I had to go on more, because you were recording it, weren't you?
Yes. We've got signal for 2 minutes up there. You must take signals. What happened? Did he say just wander off there at the end?
I had to.
Well, I couldn't hear what he was saying. So.
You had to ask that last question.
Why go on building up to the whole...
Well, the point is that I don't know who is calling from up there, but they're telling us from London to Rapids. Now, I don't know what is live. Well, it can't be live.
We'll just call it.
I know. All I'm doing is passing on instructions from London. Now, we've got 2 minutes to begin.
They might get a movement to run it by.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. Well, you've got to try to do this.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Have we finished? Are we going to try and get anyone else?
Ja, det skal bare... dass sich dieser Kongress nicht provoziert lässt.